Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Joined as always, we got Cartel W. Jr., got Raymond Lyons. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. As you guys can see, Raymond's currently in Capital One as he was to take in tonight's game. Before we get to that, got a quick word from our folks over at Ooze and Oz. As always, try Ooze and Oz family meal tonight. 4 entrees plus 3 large sides for $54.95. Order now at oozeandoz.com. Get over to oozeandoz.com to see the menu, hours, and more. Get over to the Georgia Avenue location today. All right, Ray, you were in the building. I want to get your thoughts first on Washington getting there after returning from a road trip, starting this with the win.
Again, they played just enough defense to get a win tonight. Um, they got to break that habit, man, because they're really playing with fire. Fortunately, they were able to come out on the right side of it. The fourth quarter, they really buckled down, held the Timberwolves to 19 points. After they had been having success pretty much all night up to that point. Carl Anthony Towns, man, he did what he wanted. But we know with this team, they're a little short-handed with big, so they're gonna have to do it by committee. And Gafford and Trey stepped up to the plate. They were great tonight. They really were the reason why they were able to win this game. Early on, Gafford was just a huge deterrent at the rim, but Minnesota kept pressing and they kept attacking. But Gafford did what he could, man. He was successful in spots, but I mean offense again. It was a jagged performance, man. They got baskets when they needed them, and at certain points they was having great ball movement and they led to dunks, layups, and fouls. So they just need to make that more commonplace. Bradley Beal, he's at some point he's got to be start being Bradley Beal on a consistent basis. With the depth they have and the added pieces, he's got to be that the big joker, so to speak. The thing that kind of puts them over the top in certain games. And I mean, I get it. It's a new team, it's a new season, and he's trying to recalibrate and find his way. But at some point he's got to return to himself. And then when he's coming along, it's I know we talked before. We really not going to expect him to be who he was until a little later on in the season when he gets his bearing back, coming back from injury. But yeah, man, those guys were at least from my standpoint, they were I kind of expected them to carry the offense on the perimeter from because they're both extremely capable. So yeah, I feel like if they can get it going, um, along with Trez's energy and Gafford, he's improving steadily. Once everything comes together, this team will be much different than what we're seeing now. And again, they're still missing folks. It's still early, man. It's still early. They got to win tonight. One thing that's going to be a constant. They're going to fight every game. A lot of their wins have been some tough drag out nail biters. You don't want to play with fire and live that life every night. But hey, man, a win is a win, and I'll continue to take them. They're protecting home court, and hopefully some of this good mojo will travel.
Right. All right, Cardell.
Yeah, I just thought it was a big man game. Towns did what he did for Minnesota, but I know he had help from Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell, but the Wizards bigs, man, Daniel Gafford, his energy the last few games has been exactly what this team needs, and they need this, and also he's validating why they gave him the contract extension. You feel what I'm saying? Like his talent always warranted, but it was sporadic, it wasn't consistent. But he's starting to focus in on making sure these type of performances are consistent, man. Because you starting to see these type of games night in and night out over the last say about 4 or 5 games. Trez, we all know how he played in the Spurs. It was a subpar performance for any by any standard, let alone his. And he brought it. He brought it. He brought it. He called himself out on Twitter, and Lord knows he brought it. I mean, everything was a dunk. He wasn't playing any games, like, as you can see in the clip, man. So without their energy and with their production inside, man, honestly, this is not even a close game because the Wizards, their guard play, they couldn't hit shots, and Minnesota guards could. You know, D'Angelo Russell, I know for the most part, what he had 10 points, 3 of 18, but Anthony Edwards more than made up for that. And I think his defense on Spencer was key. You know, to keeping it a close game. Talking about D'Angelo Russell. You know, obviously Anthony Edwards is a handful, man. He's coming. He's starting to figure it out, and not just on the offensive end, on the defensive end too. I don't think people understand. He's a beast for a guard, man. He reminds me a lot physically and the way he plays the game. A lot of J.R. Ryder, young J.R. Ryder, went ironically with the same team, you know, with the Minnesota days. So, so that's tough. Like Bill can't overpower him. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Torrey Prince, who's really a defensive stopper. And then, you know what I'm saying, you throw him out there for the coups and stuff like that to try to contain them. So that's why the Wizards guards struggle to shoot the ball. You know, joining the bigs, Bertans finally woke up tonight. You know what I'm saying? Hit some threes. They needed every last one of them. You know, 15 points, 5 or 6 from the field, 3 or 4 from 3-point range, man. He woke up just in time. He's supposed to be the flamethrower for them. You know what I'm saying? They get in trouble, he wide open. When they give him the rock, it's supposed to be bottoms. You know what I mean? So I loved it, like Raymond said, the ball movement that they had in the first half. I think they had like 15 assists in the first half. You know what I mean? Finished with 34. Their ball movement was surgical. And even when Towns was going off, you know, their ball movement was so cold that it created a balanced attack to keep them in the game. You know what I mean? You know, because Towns, I doubt people remember, Towns started off the game 0 for 6. It was looking like, all right, he about to, you know, he ain't having a good night. Gafford was playing good defense, recovering, bothering the shots, blocking shots. Then he went beast mode. They put Kuz on him. He started bullying Kuz. He too small. The giving Gaff moves and stuff like that. He just pretty much started cooking the Wizards entire for a lot. So they needed that balanced attack to war what he was doing off, man. But they out rebounded him, points in the paint. You could thank Trez for that. 68-44 Wizards, man. You know, they won a rebound battle 52-39. They literally won in every aspect of the game. Talking about the Wizards. The guards just didn't hit shots. If the guards hit their normal shots, this is a 20-point win. So, as usual with the Wizards, it's a lot of good, but it's some key things that were bad that they have to clean up if they want to go where they want to be, which is maximize the potential. Like we keep saying, they're a second-round team, you know, with the depth and stuff. And especially you see Rui on the bench, that means he's close to coming back. And I'm expecting to see TB probably closer to the All-Star break, somewhere around that frame. So they still got reinforcements coming, but at the end of the day, it don't matter if they're going to keep having these sporadic up and down type plays, especially defensively, and not hitting key shots. And you know, like Ray, I'm with you with the Bill thing, man. Like he got to be Bill. You know what I mean? Look, it's sometimes it's easier to score when you don't really have to look. You can look over your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like they need you to get shots up, so you know when you get a certain amount of shots, it's comfort knowing I can take bad ones and whatever. I'm still gonna get the ball. But now with the added depth that they got and the talent that they have offensively, he got to make those shots count. You know, like it's always harder when like, yo, role players, you only get 5 shots a game. You better hit about 3 or 4 of those. That's a lot harder than, you guarantee 25 shots. You can afford a few misses and you can relax a little bit. So that's just what it is, man. He's adjusting just like everyone else is adjusting. So that's why I keep going back to the defensive thing. That will buy you time when you don't make shots. You know what I mean? And that's the key thing. And why y'all still trying to build chemistry. You know what I mean? So if they keep maintaining that, they'll be fine. They definitely got to do something about putting together better defensive sequences because you're not going to win many games with like a big Towns caliber going off of 30. Then you got the second option, Anthony Edwards going off of 25. If most nights, if for a lot of these teams in the league, if the top 2 options go off of 30 and 25, that's gonna be a L for sure. So they're gonna have to clean that up ASAP.
All right, moving on. Ray, we're gonna let you go first here with player of the game. I feel like we're all within the same place on this one. It's pretty easy, but you know, it's my job to ask. So go ahead, Ray.
Man, I think Gaff and Trez got to share that tonight, man. You know, they like what like Cartel said, man. Without what they brought to this game, this is a loss, plain and simple. Because Towns was doing what he wanted to do, but they counteracted it, and that that really was what got him over the edge. Because if they weren't able to match what he did, then it would have been ugly. Because the guard play, again, like Cardell said, it wasn't up to par tonight for the most part. So yeah, man, they both of them get the recognition from me, man, because they came out and did what they did. They were aggressive. Like I love, like it's expected from Trez because we know who he is a player at this point. But I love the way that Gaff is coming on, man. We weren't seeing this from him last season, and even so far in the early portion of this season, he's just becoming more aggressive and more nasty. I think Cardell brought it up a couple games ago that's Trez rubbing off on him, and I think that's accurate because he didn't have that fire before. He was just out there being athletic, and doing what he could do. But they're definitely, it looked like they're rubbing off on each other. And I would have liked to see him actually close the game with Trez. But that's another discussion for another day. But yeah, Trez and Gaff, co-players of the game for me tonight.
All right, Cardell.
Same for everything he said.
All right, look, I guess we're going 3 for 3. X Factor tonight. I feel like this is the same as well, but Cardell, we'll start with you with this one.
Bertans hitting the threes, man. Waking up, hitting the threes. They needed them Jones. Man, they needed those Jones. And he hit them at key times. They needed all of them, all those jumpers, man. They need him to do his job. He's, like I say, he's supposed to be the guy where teams fear. Whenever he's open, whenever he's on the floor, he spreads the floor. Because that creates so much space for the Bills and Dinwiddies to do what they do. And that creates space for the bigs. You know what I'm saying? Like I said a few games ago, they got to start looking for the bigs because, like Trez, he called Anthony Edwards late in the game on the switch on the block. Gave him a nice little spin. Anthony Edwards damn near fell over for it. Easy dunk. They are. I'm not saying they're the most polished low post scorers in the league. That's not what it's about. But they have enough between both of them where they could be a threat at times where you could throw it in and keep the defense honest, man. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just jacking up 42 to 53s every game. That ain't going to do it. That's a recipe for an L, especially if you only hit 8 of them. So get some easy baskets. Like I said, they won by what? They won by 8. Trez missed one shot. All those Jones were dunks. He had 10 dunks. You feel what I'm saying? Like the most by player off the bench. Like he's a finisher, dog. They finish, man. Gafford just punching on everybody, man. It's not rocket science, man. You know what I'm saying? Feed the beast, and when you feed them, you see what happens. They get more energized and they become more of a beast. That helps you. So they just got to keep recognizing that and just keep playing to their strengths instead of just playing to the numbers all the time.
Right.
Bertans for sure.
Right.
Yeah, man, Bertans. This is what he's expected to do. So we saw the benefits of him finally, performing the expectations. And if he can bring that on a consistent basis, then that just adds another layer to this team. So yeah, man, good kudos to him, man, for for showing up.
Yeah, and it's as simple as that here. People ain't doing what they're supposed to do. Talk about it when they are doing what they're supposed to do. You're gonna get acknowledged for it. You guys have anything else you wanted to add before we look forward to Friday's game against Cleveland?
No, sir.
All right, well, thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight. Ray, safe travels home. And we'll see you guys Friday when they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers at Capital One Arena.